Llama Studios production. Visit flyinglamastudios.net for more information.
And hello, everybody. Hi,
Hello.
and welcome to this week's Babbelfish. I'm Daniel, and straight from the fifth layer of hell, it's Mark Wilson and Grogu, as well, if you're watching
Hello.
on Twitch.
Hang on, his
You really do need to get some sort of like cable tie or something for that thing. It's going to keep. I mean, I'm having all sorts of problems with my llama on my microphone. It keeps falling off. Okay. Anyway, welcome to the show, everyone.
Yeah.
We're an entertainment show / podcast. We talk about TV, movies, games, tech news, anything else that we fancy, and we talk about it for an hour. And
We do, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's it, really. I think our movie of the week, which was Space. I can't even remember the name of it now. Space Sweepers.
Yep.
I called it Trash Busters or something. I couldn't remember what I called it. We were talking about it on Discord the other day, and I was just like, "What was that movie called again? Trash Busters?" And you were like, "No, it's Space Sweepers."
Yep.
I actually stopped watching that movie. I feel awful saying this, but I actually stopped watching that movie about halfway through because I just found it was so predictable. But we'll talk about it. I mean, it was alright. It wasn't a bad movie. It was just, it was just very, very predictable where the story was going to go. I mean, I pretty much knew within the first 10 minutes what was going to happen. Ignore that. It's fine. But anyway, yeah, so Space Sweepers, we'll be talking about that a little bit later. But yeah, so I guess really it's just, how have you been? How's life? How's things? How's life in the Mark lane?
Yeah, all right. Still locked down. Can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we're all imprisoned, but you're in our own environment, so we can actually.
It's like house arrest, isn't it?
It is like house arrest.
It
yeah.
is. That's exactly what it is. I mean, that's basically it.
I mean, I know we're allowed to go out for walks and shopping, but yeah, I'm not really doing that because other than shopping, yeah, I'm staying in.
Yeah, same here.
And
for the most
it's
part.
absolutely
Freezing.
outside.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's been like -1, I think, at one point. I think earlier on the other day it was like -1 or minus something.
Yeah,
Briefly.
we had a few flurries of snow here. Although I think today was a lot colder than it has been elsewhere the rest of the week.
Yeah. Well, in Sandy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's been pretty cool. I mean, it was pretty cold here. We had like I'm pretty sure we had -1 at one point.
Yeah. I don't know what the temperature was, but it was definitely very, very cold because there was still
Very,
ice
very
on
cold.
the cars at about 10 o'clock this morning.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, every sort of morning I sort of get up and my car is covered in a layer of ice. So I have this little routine I'm into now. So I get up, I start my car, just 5 minutes, just to kind of let everything kind of turn on the de-icer and the de-mister and all the rest of it, and just kind of leave it there for 5 minutes while I go back in and make my coffee. And by the time I finish drinking it or whatever, the car is ready to go. I hop in my car and I drive off. And yeah, honestly, it's like sometimes the ice is so bad I can't even open my car door. I'm stood on the driveway, kind of yanking the thing, trying it, and it's just like, open! Why won't you open? It's really
I think I've
frustrating.
only had that once.
Yeah, it's one of those. So, yeah, it's cold. I think we had all of 2 millimeters of snow at one point. Not even that, for like an hour.
Yeah, I think I saw something about somewhere in Scotland had like the coldest night on record, and it was something like -20 or something.
Yeah, which was the worst. I remember that actually. That was like 20 years, wasn't it? Like the coldest temperatures recorded for 20 years. So I'm just gonna open this
Somewhere
drink.
up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Scotland is colder anyway, but wow.
Yeah. -20, right?
Yeah.
You sort of really need all your Arctic Explorer gear out for that.
Yeah. It's a good job that most people are staying in.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't really want to. I mean, the thing is, temperatures like that are just. I mean, I've never experienced -20, but it seems like the sort of. Is it -20 where you sort of throw a load of boiling water up into the air and it freezes before it even hits the ground, and it turns to snow and mist basically.
Quite possibly, I'm not sure.
I don't know what the temperature needs to be for that, but I remember seeing those silly little clips on the internet. You see all these people, usually in Russia, they usually don't have t-shirts on because they're crazy out there. And they go, in Russia, and they throw the thing up in the air and all the water evaporates or turns to snow or whatever, and then they go, yeah. Seems fun, but very cold.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they go swimming in the
Mm-hmm.
ice.
Yeah, they do.
Well, not the ice, but the,
Scandinavians do it as well,
surrounded by
yeah.
ice. Yeah.
Yeah, they say it's good for your health or whatever, but I don't see that being good for my health. That's the last thing I want to do.
Come out with hypothermia.
That's the last thing I want to do. But yeah, no, I mean, for me, it's just pretty much the same as you, just being going to work and coming back and going to work and coming back. And actually, I discovered that there was a pub that actually does home deliveries, and we haven't had a Sunday roast in forever. And we discovered this place that does delivery on a Sunday for Sunday lunch, and we thought, you know what, we'll have that because it's been a while. And honestly, it was cheap enough because by the time you buy all the ingredients, it ends up being more expensive if you make it yourself, although it does have the potential of being better, except I'm a terrible cook. So, if you buy it, it works out slightly cheaper, and it's made for you and it just gets delivered, and it's just less hassle. You don't have all the cleaning and all the faff. So, yeah, we did that, and it was amazing.
Well, that's good. I do like a Sunday roast.
Yeah, right, but it has to be I don't know. I mean, I've never had one of those frozen things. I'd never want to do that.
Some of them aren't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're not as good as home cooked or restaurant cooked.
I mean, like I said, I have done it a couple of
passable.
times, but it does take, it takes hours. You're there for like a good 3 hours, maybe 2 hours, making this stuff, and
You
it's
don't have to be. Depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it probably takes me longer because I don't know what I'm doing. So
there is that.
there is that. So I don't know, whatever. So yeah, no, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good Sunday lunch, and I don't know. I'm sort of tempted to do it again this weekend. But yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I think it could get a bit much after a while. I think that it could lose its novelty, so I'll probably
Have it once in a while. Every few weeks, or maybe a once a month thing.
Yeah. You have to take what joy you can, I suppose, these days.
Yep.
Wherever you can find it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, apart from that, I've just been drawing an awful lot. Been sort of obsessed by it recently. I have no idea why. Once I start drawing, yeah, you know me. You know me better than anyone else. You've known me for most of my life at this point.
Well, yeah.
And don't even think about it. Don't go there.
Getting on for what, 24 years?
Yeah. So
like
probably a bit more than that. So you've known me for most of my life at this point. So you know that what I'm like when I become obsessed with something. And at the moment, drawing is just my new obsession, and I just can't stop. For whatever reason, I'm just absolutely addicted to it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. As Stephen told me once, you have to become obsessed in order to make progress.
Yeah. Because it's all the practice. And if you're not obsessed by it, you just don't bother practicing. So
Exactly.
You don't get any better.
Exactly. And I am actually addicted to it.
Yeah.
Like, I could genuinely get up in the morning and draw all day, every day until I go to sleep. Not go into work, not see anybody, not do anything else. Just sit there and draw.
Might be a little excessive.
Yeah, no, but I know I could do it. That's the worrying thing. Like, I know I could do that.
Yeah, I don't think that would be healthy.
No, exactly. So I'm trying to... I mean, good thing I work, right? And I've got a job, so it forces me away from it. But yeah,
Well,
it's...
plus you got to rest your hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, as you said before, it makes your hand ache, so...
Well, I mean, this weekend is Stephen's birthday, by the way. So
Yes.
that'll be quite good. We've got... the thing is, I think we mentioned this the other week.
You've got a big party of two planned.
A big party of two with... yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's... I mean, I bought him a poncho the other day. Did I tell you about the poncho?
Yes, yeah. You
I bought him a poncho, an alpaca poncho from some alpaca store on the internet. And he hasn't taken it off since he's got it. He's literally worn it every single day whenever, he just walks around the house with it. It's the best thing ever. I recommend alpaca ponchos, everyone. Because they're very, very warm.
Kind of makes him look a bit like a Jedi.
It does. Or like one of the cowboys from the spaghetti westerns,
Yeah, I don't know whether their ponchos had hoods, though.
You know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's about it, really, news-wise. There's nothing else really to say. It's been pretty much just a normal week. So
the new normal.
well, right. Well, anyway, so we've got some news and stuff to talk about, and like I said, towards the end of the show, we'll be talking about our movie of the week. So stick around for that. But I don't know. We've got thanks to Stephen for finding quite a few articles for us this week, and I think we found a few extra bits as well to throw into the mix. So let's. Why don't you kick us off?
Okay. We're obviously grew up quite a lot of our
back in the day
was
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. There were two nerds in the 90s.
There was a TV show which I think was on Channel 4.
Yeah.
Called Games Master.
People might not remember that, actually. It's been such a long time.
So this was a show that people would go on and play computer games. They would compete against each other and play computer games. And it was famous for having Sir Patrick Moore as
the Games Master.
Yeah, he was the Games Master. He was sort of like a anthropomorphic head.
That sort of floated. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
In a fake 3D environment sort of thing.
It was so. I mean, I'd love to watch one of those episodes now because I bet you they haven't aged very well at all.
You could probably find them on YouTube, I would imagine.
I'm gonna have to do that after the show.
So, the reason I'm bringing this up is apparently Channel 4 is bringing it back.
Okay.
So, it originally ran from 92 to 98. And obviously, Patrick Moore, unfortunately, passed away a few years ago. So, they've decided to go for the other most famous Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. Apparently, Patrick Stewart's going to be taking over the Games Master duties. So he's quite busy at the moment. What with Star Trek Picard and doing this as well. I don't know whether he's with a Marvel.
I don't see this taking up very much of his time, if I'm honest. They'll probably just say, right, here's a webcam, here's some one-liners. Record these, please.
Possibly, I don't know whether...
I really don't see this being a massive production. I see it sort of, Sir Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart, hi, could you record these lines for us on the webcam? Hi, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, we can hear you fine. Can you, I think you're good. Yeah, it's going to be like that.
Yeah, I mean... With the technology today, he wouldn't even need to come back to because I think he lives in America somewhere, probably LA, so he could probably do it over Zoom or whatever.
Well, he's going to have to, isn't he? So yeah, apparently there's a tie-in magazine.
There was a tie-in magazine. Yeah.
So it lasted up until 2018. Apparently,
the magazine did, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I wonder if they're going to revive that then. Probably not, because who reads magazines these days, honestly? I mean, I'm probably one of the few people that actually subscribes to a magazine anymore. I subscribe to the Linux magazine.
I think a lot of them have gone digital.
Yeah.
So you can subscribe to them through whatever digital store you use.
Yeah.
But things like Games Master, that was a big magazine back in the 90s, early 2000s.
You know what the one thing I always remembered about the Games Master that I found the best thing was the cheats they always told you at the end of the show.
Yes.
I remember that. I always used to, yeah.
So I press this button, up, down, left, right.
And I remember sort of writing this down on a bit of paper back in the day. So watching TV and writing this down on a bit of paper really quickly. Because Because that was obviously before the internet and everything else.
Yeah, back in the days where DLC didn't exist.
They've changed the format of this new show, though. So the format seems to be different from before. The magazine, they're based around the golden joystick. They'll undergo challenges, apparently, races and fights and virtual battles across all genres of gaming under the watchful eye of the all-knowing games master.
Which kind of sounds a bit like that. There was a show that Dara O'Brien did a few years ago.
Yeah, that tanked, didn't it?
I think they did 2 series.
I think that absolutely tanked.
What was it called? It was all right.
Yeah, but you can tell that none of them really cared about computer games. You can tell that all of them were just a bunch of filthy casuals. Filthy casuals.
I don't know about that. What was it called? Oh man, it's so far back in. Go 8-bit. That's what it was called. Go 8-bit. I remember 3 seasons.
Okay, so it did better than I thought, but still.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, that synopsis sounds fairly similar with the whole celebrities doing computer game challenges. I mean, Go 8-bit was pretty much they were there to play computer games, and that was it.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. So that was that. Any idea when this thing's going to be out then? Is there like any kind of a date, or has it just been announced?
It looks like it's just been announced. There isn't any
news on a release yet. But it'll be on Channel 4, you said?
It will be. Looks like it's going to be an E4.
E4, yeah.
Or at least E4 +1 or whatever. They're.
I don't watch TV anymore.
They're youngster aimed. Well,
I don't understand TV. I don't watch TV, so.
No, well, you'll be able to watch it on All 4, which most people are aware of is their streaming service. So,
all right. Well, anyway, moving on then. So the second article then we found is video game playing pigs stretch our concepts of animal intelligence. You got this article up, right? Literally a picture of a pig with a joystick.
But it's the first. I haven't actually had a chance to have a look at it, so.
I know, it's fine. I mean. There's a ton of stuff to go through, but basically, apparently they've just been trying to do all sorts of experiments to see how intelligent pigs are and sort of put them in front of sort of very basic computer games to see if they can understand actually what's going on. And they've been trying to teach them how to basically play Pong. And apparently they've learned how to do this, and they actually do it with surprising skill. They're actually aware of what's going on. And they can actually play the game. I think there must be some sort of a treat-based reward thing. It's not the first time this sort of thing's happened.
Yeah, they've been trying this since the 90s.
So researchers began putting pigs on computerized tasks in the 90s. And through the results got occasional press coverage and so on. And that kind of spurred additional experiments until today. Scientists found that despite dexterous and visual constraints of animals, pigs were able to both understand and achieve goals in simple computer games. So, they understand Pong.
I mean, there's not a lot to understand about Pong, really.
Yeah, I know, but it's impressive for a pig.
Yeah, pigs are so deceptively intelligent.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know how far they could go beyond Pong. Maybe they could get them playing Pac-Man.
But they've done it with dogs as well. I mean, there's various clips here of.
I mean, they mostly.
Playing, yeah.
I think what they do is it's treats based, isn't it? Mm-hmm, so they essentially teach them how to play the game to get the treat as a reward.
Yeah, so basically the pigs love it, and they can't wait to get out of their pens, and every sort of morning they beg to be let out, so they trot right up to the ramp to play the computer games.
So what they've done is they've gotten pigs addicted to
computer games, basically, yeah.
I think they need to go to see some shrinks.
I think, I mean, if you're a pig, I mean... What really have you got to look forward to in life? I mean, to be honest with you, you've got like eating some, I don't know, whatever they feed pigs.
I don't know what
they feed them some mix, whatever, and
yeah,
you know, you can trot around a bit and go, yeah, I'm a pig. But I mean, honestly, what is there really to look forward to if you're a pig?
Ooh.
Now you can play computer games if you're a pig.
Becoming a sausage or bacon.
Yeah, I don't think they look forward to that. But yeah, it was apparent, you know, that it was a bit of an uphill battle. You know, they tried various different joysticks and things went wrong, and trying to figure out a way that they could actually control it, and they had to make some custom controllers, and they had to adjust the screens because pigs are actually farsighted. So to focus on the screen, they had to kind of move stuff around. Yeah. But they overcame all those physical limitations, and apparently turns out that they're pretty good with games, and they're actually quite intelligent to be able to actually understand what's going on and react to it. So
yeah. Yeah, so what are they going to get them on next?
I have no idea. Probably be Space Invaders or Pac-Man. Waka 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 waka.
You imagine them trying to play something like Fortnite.
Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine that if one day all these like kids are like, yeah, I'm the best, and they get like headshotted by a pig.
Yeah.
Sir Oinks-a-lot. With a headset on, just kind of squealing into the microphone. I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, apparently they really enjoy it, and they get treats, and they get to play computer games, and that's that. That's all there is to it, really. So.
Well, good for the pigs.
Yep, that's it.
I'm not sure what this is actually leading to, though.
Well, gamer pigs, clearly.
I mean, yeah. But why?
I don't know. Why not? I mean, honestly,
Can
if
pigs
you're
play computer games, yes. So what have we learned? That pigs can play computer games. Yay?
I'm sure there's like some sort of sort of understanding in animal intelligence there. You know?
Yeah.
There is some scientific merit to it, but I think it's mostly just
for fun.
For fun.
Well, the scientists wouldn't say it's for fun.
It's a serious scientific.
Serious.
Yeah, it's terribly serious scientific research. Bonk, 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 bonk.
Boink.
Yeah, that was obviously the pong noises.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so moving on then, the next article we got here is Cyberpunk and Witcher hackers claim they'll auction off stolen source code for millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
This is what happens if you've got bad security and infrastructure.
Yeah, they're not having a good time of it at the moment, are they, CD Projekt Red?
Yeah, they're putting the source code up for sale on the underground digital market, apparently.
Well, these are the hackers.
Yeah.
Apparently.
You know, they were the darlings of the gaming world until
Cyberpunk came out.
Yeah, and then suddenly their name is, I wouldn't say it's dirt, but it's definitely they've definitely taken a kicking, and now because of this, you know.
Yeah, it's not just Cyberpunk, apparently. It's also Gwent, which is a card game that's in the Witcher franchise, and it's a spin-off game, and Witcher 3 code as well. So,
what I'm concerned about is there might be proprietary stuff in there that might be leaked. So I suspect there'll be lawsuits.
Yeah.
Because Americans love all that. They can't get enough of it. Suing each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a comment that on one of the articles about this where somebody said either way that CD Projekt are going to win, because as soon as something comes out with any of their code in it, they'll just sue them and make tons of money out of that.
Well, they won't know, because will they? I mean, it's very difficult to tell if it actually uses.
Companies seem to be able to do it.
I mean, I guess there must be a way that they can decompile it or whatever and have a look at it, but I mean, it's not. I don't know. I can't imagine it's easy. Let's just put it that way.
No, it won't be easy, but companies do it all the time. So they're towers.
Yeah, but the thing is with a lot of these companies is that actually they use proprietary tools that.
Yeah, I think CD Projekt actually build their own in-house engine and tools.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Ouch.
If that's all been leaked as well, or at least stolen, there could be a lot of people being sued.
No, I suspect there might be. So the hackers who targeted the video games developer with a ransomware attack are now auctioning off the stolen source code they acquired for millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
The breach, which CDPR first disclosed yesterday after learning of it on Monday this week, involved critical game code related to high-profile releases, like you said, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And the screenshots of all the stuff and...
Yeah. Apparently they're refusing. They're asking for the ransom, and CD Projekt are rightly refusing to pay it.
No, because they're going to release it anyway.
Yeah.
You know they are. They're going to make a copy of that. They will be released anyway.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Especially if you're...
If you're doing that and you're that sort of a person, you just take the
Yeah.
money and release it anyway to make a bit more money. I mean...
Yeah. What have you got to lose? I mean,
Yeah.
if you get caught, you're screwed anyway. So.
Yeah. The initial leak of blues, but they found it through an exploit, apparently, which is quite interesting. They haven't been able to verify that information, but they're looking into it.
Mm. Well, I mean, most of these things are done through some exploit or another. What that exploit is, who knows? Maybe they forgot to update their SQL database version, so the security wasn't up to date, and they used some sort of injection to get into their systems. They did say they've secured their IT infrastructure and begun
that's what I was
restoring the
reading.
data from backups.
But still.
So, yeah.
Why couldn't they make a copy of it? Why did they just...
Yeah.
That's very strange.
It does sound as if they probably didn't patch their systems.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Oh well. Let that be a lesson to you all. Make sure you do your updates.
Well, unless those updates brick your machines.
Actually, they frequently do. Don't talk to me about that. I'm having an awful time with that at the moment. It's useless. All right. Well, anyway, so moving on then. Volkswagen. We all know them as the
car people.
The car people.
And the fake emissions tests. I mean,
yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
So yeah, Volkswagen is apparently exploring flying vehicles in China.
Yes. Apparently so.
Is that because there's less regulation over there, and it's kind of like, I don't know.
What?
I mean, there must be maybe it's just I don't know why they're trying this out in China. I mean, I know like the Chinese market is incredibly important to German car manufacturers these days. They're really going for it out there. So I think maybe they want to develop this stuff out there to have more of a... I don't know. Maybe they've got some sort of a deal with the Chinese government. But there must be a reason why they're developing all this stuff out there, as opposed to anywhere else. I'm just wondering what's going on, that's all. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it is because the regulations in China are easier for that sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the article doesn't really go into that. But it just says they're looking into making flying vehicles in China, becoming the latest automatic to probe automaker to probe the possibility of personal air travel. Europe's largest automaker said in a statement on Tuesday that vertical mobility is not just vertical mobility, is it? It's just... I mean, if it was just vertical, you'd just be going up.
And eventually you'd burn up in the atmosphere.
No, you'd probably just have oxygen deprivation or whatever and pass out, but yeah.
Well, that as well.
You'd probably burn on the way back in again.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's not so much... I don't know why they called it vertical mobility. It could be the next step after self-driving technology. Therefore, we're investigating potential concepts and partners in feasibility study to identify the possibility to industrialize this approach. But apparently China is Volkswagen's single biggest customer, apparently.
Well, the Chinese auto market is massive. I mean, you know how highly populated China is.
Yeah.
And they are making huge pushes with the electric car market in China.
Yeah.
And some of them are actually headed towards Europe and the States, actually.
I find that quite interesting because China for years have been playing catch up in the auto industry. Mm-hmm. They've got their own auto industry. I would have thought they would have tried to promote that over rivals and competition.
I think they're probably working with a Chinese automaker, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
It doesn't actually say in the article who they're working with, which it could be because that's too secretive at the moment. Maybe, I don't know.
I just don't see the flying vehicles as ever really going to take off because I think it's always going to be.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. But yeah, no, I don't see that's ever going to be a thing because I think it's going to be really difficult to regulate. And like, how are you going to? He's going to set up all the roads in the sky with sky roads. I don't know how it would work. I just see a whole bunch of people just flying around and like bumping into things.
Be some sort of system so that you can only go in certain areas, maybe.
Yeah, in certain directions, and it's like, how are you gonna have sky cops then going around?
Quite
neener, chasing. It'll be like something out of The Fifth Element or whatever.
Yeah, or any of these futuristic sci-fi
things.
Yeah, even Back to the Future.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, all these concepts, they all look really, really cool, but the reality is it's always going to fall short of these concepts, isn't it? It's the same thing with concept cars. They look really cool, but the reality are always just slightly.
Yeah. Cause there's a couple of other companies that I think in the States that are still developing electric cars.
Yeah.
Not electric cars, flying cars.
But you know, all these things are basically just going to end up looking like quadcopters, right?
Yeah.
You'll be just sat there with like your big old glasses on or whatever, and you'll be like, "I'm flying now," as you know.
Yeah.
Get hit in the base with birds or whatever.
On the article, they do actually have a video of this, or a video of a potential flying car, and it is literally a quadcopter with a seat.
Yeah. I see that now. But I mean, that's always what it was going to be. You know, that's it. And I just think, all right. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath.
I suppose we could get around there aren't any roads in the sky by making them automated.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Like with the self-driving cars, you make them automated so they only go along certain...
Am I the only one that actually likes driving? I actually quite like it. I find it quite therapeutic. I enjoy it. Because I'm lucky enough. I'm lucky enough to have a route into work that's actually quite pleasant.
No, I do enjoy driving, but sometimes it's nice not to have to drive.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like it. I just think it's, they've made it so they pretty much drive themselves anyway these days. Just take your cruise control on and your lane assist if you've got a new car or whatever, and off you go.
It's coming. There will be a world of self-driving cars in the not too distant future.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's that one.
Much like what's the Tom Cruise film? Minority Report.
Mm-hmm. Oh. All right, well, we got a couple more articles, and we got about 25 minutes left of the show, so we'll need about 10 minutes to talk about the movie, probably less than that.
Yeah.
So I think we got a couple more articles we need to get through still this evening. So, yeah, I remember seeing something about this on Linus Tech Tips. If you don't know Linus Tech Tips, he's a YouTuber, and he does... There's a whole bunch of people on the channel basically doing reviews for technology and stuff.
Well, not just reviews, just general tech stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly IT.
And he did a thing on this. So, Starlink. We've talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
So SpaceX is low Earth orbit satellite internet service basically, and they have like I don't know, they must have like 160 of these things in low Earth orbit, all at varying distances from the planet to cover bigger geographical areas and stuff.
Yeah.
And Linus actually tested some of this stuff on his show, and it actually works quite well. There's a bit more latency than you'd normally expect, but I mean, that's understandable considering you're literally using satellites in space.
Yeah, and the fact that they haven't actually got all the satellites up there yet.
No.
So
there's a bit of a gap in the coverage, yeah.
Yeah, presumably once everything's up there, up in space, or low Earth orbit, the latency will drop.
Yeah, like Stephen and I were seriously looking into this. Because when we finally move, if eventually we move,
yeah,
I think we're going to struggle to get any kind of decent broadband. I think we probably will, but we might consider getting this in addition to that. And maybe having some sort of a failover on a router or something.
It's quite a pricey failover.
Well, no, we'd be using Starlink primarily, and then obviously we'd use the standard broadband as the failover.
Okay. Yeah, because you can pre-order it now. Mm-hmm. It's only available in Canada, United States, or United Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't know why we get it as well as Canada.
Why not? You shouldn't. Why shouldn't we get it?
It's not a bad thing, but it's just why us? I get.
Why not us?
Yeah, well, no.
Exactly. Anyway, so whatever. We'll if we got a good thing, we'll take it. So
you can pre-order it now from the Starlink website. It doesn't actually guarantee that you're going to get it straight.
No, there's a wait. Yeah.
And you have to pay a $99 deposit.
And then $500 for all the gear.
Yeah.
And then a recurring monthly subscription of like £100 a month, basically for.
Yeah, $100 a month to use it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it isn't cheap. I'm not gonna say that, but it's
not cheap, but it's.
I mean, if you have a small business, or you live in an area that doesn't have very good internet connection, this is pretty much one of your only other options, unless you use like 5G or 4G or whatever on your phone. But even then, signal can be a bit patchy, and you're probably not gonna get that great in the way of speeds. So.
Yeah, and presumably you can just take it anywhere. So you could go up to the top of a mountain that doesn't have any mobile signal at all.
Just plonk your thing down, off you go.
Down there, yeah. Internet, woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
And the speeds are actually pretty good. I think they're a lot better than the average broadband speeds in this country.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, it sounds as if most people that are going to get it won't be getting it until at least the end of the year.
Yeah.
It does say they're estimating the coverage between this year and sometime next year.
Mm-hmm. So they're saying there's a top speed of about 200 megabits.
Yeah, which is much better than the average in this country.
Yeah. I mean, we can't complain because America's got a terrible problem with its internet speeds. Like a lot of the network providers limit people to 3 megabits, and they say that's perfectly adequate because, the whole thing's just run by lobbyists and they don't care about the consumer. It's very anti-competitive, anti-consumer.
They also have a lot of problems with all the various different companies that owns the different parts of the infrastructure.
Yeah, they basically divide themselves into their own little fiefdoms.
Yeah.
And they've just basically just all about profit, and they don't care about the consumer. And where else are you gonna go? It's us or nothing. So, and that situation has caused, the whole thing to be very anti-competitive, anti-consumer, and literally the consumer has no other choice. If you live in a state there's probably only
yeah.
one provider there, so tough cheese.
Yep.
Really, and it's awful, and and so they get away with murder out there, and it's like, here we go. This is our top shelf internet connection, 3 megabits. That's $50 a month, please. And you're just like,
What? I'll just go move to this state instead.
But the funny thing is, like, they're exactly the same with the mobile phone things over there. It's like mobile phones are hugely expensive, and that's again another example of, because they all have their own little fiefdoms, they can literally do whatever they want, and there's only like a couple of them, and they're so big, that there's no competition, and that lack of competition is anti-consumer, and so you're stuffed, really. So we here in England
we
are
do
very
have
lucky in a lot of respects.
We are quite lucky with our internet connection. It may not be the quickest in a lot of places, but it's much better than a lot of states.
Yeah, and at least we're not being, charged an absolute fortune.
Although I think Australia tends to suffer from bad internet as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've been lacking investment down there and quite a lot.
Mm.
I think that, I don't know. I just think there's all sorts of issues, but I think America and Canada, when it comes to those sorts of things, it's really bad. Like you will not have a good time out there if you need to.
It's weird because you think of America as the place that all the tech comes from.
Yeah.
All the internet comes from America.
Yeah, I mean, let's not get started on all the problems with America. We'll be here for the rest of the night. But yeah, anyway, so. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the latency on this articles is between 20 and 40 milliseconds. I mean, for like professional gamers, they might complain at that. But
I don't know. That's not horrendous.
No, I mean, I remember things being a lot worse than that back in the day.
Yeah, back when we used to have like 128 BPS broadband, and that was like you'd get like maybe 100 ping.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
And we used to play games on that. People don't know how good they've got it these days.
No, they don't. They're sitting here and they're sneering at 40 milliseconds. And bearing in mind that signal's being beamed into space and back.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. You can't
remember dial-up.
Yeah, I do. I remember those. I still hear those horrible sounds in my nightmares. I still. I can't even do it.
Waiting a whole day for an image to load.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, that's Starlink. So you can look forward to that. The beta's starting soon. We don't know when the full service is going to be launched. They're still launching satellites. Basically, if you want satellite internet, it's yours eventually for probably about £600 when you're all in, and then obviously the recurring monthly, recurring monthly thing. So it ain't cheap.
I imagine that monthly price will drop as more and more satellites and people join the service.
Yeah.
I would hope, anyway.
All right, well, so in other news, we got a couple. I think we got a couple of other articles here, haven't we? We got about the German man is keeping $60 million worth of Bitcoin away from police by never revealing his password.
Can we have your password, please?
No,
I don't tell you your password.
Yeah, right. It's just. I mean, the thing is like, so they go stalemate. So the police aren't going to get the money. And he's probably not going to get his digital wallet back. No. So essentially, it's going to be limbo. So that's that. That's the end of the story. Cool. That's basically it, isn't it? I mean, it's
kind of like cool story, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, so the police are just going to hold on to it, and that's that. So the man in question was sentenced and has served his time in jail for covertly installing Bitcoin mining software on people's computers. And that's how he generated his $60 million worth of Bitcoin. Yeah. Throughout the entire process, he never shared a peep about how German authorities should get in. He's just
why would you?
Stumm, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So. I think he's at this point. He's just trying to keep the authorities from getting the money because he knows that if they get it, he'll never get it back anyway. They're just going to take it as proceeds from crime or whatever.
Yeah.
And the government's going to get it. So I think from his point of view, he's just kind of sticking it to the man or whatever. I don't know what he's doing.
I wonder what he was actually charged with.
Running a Bitcoin mining
operation.
Yeah.
Which isn't
Botnet.
I mean, yes, he's installed it on other people's machines to run it, presumably in the background.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would have thought. I mean, was he actually thrown in jail for that? That seems a bit excessive.
He's been in jail.
Huh.
Served his time for covertly installing Bitcoin mining software on people's computers. I mean, it's not like he was
exactly right.
spyware or spying on them or anything.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that's it really for the news this week. I think that's. I don't have anything else. How about you?
There was a briefing earlier today. Mandalorian.
Yeah, not personally, but yeah, I've watched the TV series.
Yeah. The character Cara Dune, whatever you want to.
I'm terrible with character names. I don't remember anybody.
So essentially, the ex-rebel mercenary chick that.
Her. Right. Okay, got it. Yeah.
That's quite bulky, and then becomes a essentially a law officer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Played by Gina Carano. She's been sacked.
Huh.
By Disney because of some tweets that appeared the other day and have now been deleted.
Okay, what was she do?
She was likening, what was it? Something to do with likening Republicans to Jews or something. I can't remember.
Okay.
So there was a whole thing about Jews in Nazi Germany and Republicans. I can't remember exactly how it was, but yeah, it was. If you want to find it, you can find the what she said. And
oh well,
I read it and it was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, there we go.
So yeah, she's now out of
a job.
Any Disney Star Wars project. She was tipped to headline one of their new shows, but obviously that's not going to happen now. She's also been dropped by her agents as well.
Yeah, no one wants to be near her now. She's a social pariah.
Don't say stupid stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why people do that.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It just seems really stupid to me. Like, how dumb do you have to be?
Or better yet, just don't use it.
Yeah, that is the best option. Just ignore all social media. That's probably the best thing. All right, well, with 10 minutes left, I suppose we better talk about our movie of the week. So why don't you start us off? Because like I said at the beginning of the show, I literally got so bored of this. About 15 minutes in, I was just like, okay, I can see where this is going. 20 minutes in, half an hour in, I was like, yeah, okay, I know exactly where this is going. And then Stephen was just like, yeah, I'm going to leave now. And then he got up and left, and I'm just like, do I stick this out? Nah.
See, yes, it is predictable. It is very predictable, but it's a fun movie. If you've forgotten what the movie was called, it's called Space Sweepers. It's a movie that was produced in South Korea. This is it's being regarded as the first Korean space blockbuster.
Is it? I guess it is. I wouldn't say it was a blockbuster though.
Well, it had all the right
elements.
Yeah. I mean, the visuals were spot on for any kind of space
thing.
opera. Yeah. The acting is all kind of subjective because
I found the acting really cheesy.
it's all dubbed.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could go on the body language, which I thought was, yeah, it was reasonable. You know, that you could imagine them having those emotions and going through those situations, but because it's all dubbed, it's a little bit harder to tell.
Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about the movie a bit here. So basically, what happened was that there was the humanity had destroyed the Earth. There was a very big, powerful corporation that controlled most of the assets in space. They basically tried to colonize some space stations. Only the super rich and elite could live on them. Everyone else. And it was run by a maniac who basically wanted to force humanity to evolve and do everything else. So he didn't really care about the other people. He just cared about furthering his ventures in space or whatever.
Yeah,
And
he's trying to colonize Mars.
yeah.
And this guy actually is played by Richard Armitage, who's British.
Yeah.
So that's another thing about the movie. There is quite a lot of cultural diversity. It does mostly follow the crew of the main ship in the film, who are South Korean.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of people from different cultures.
Yeah. So basically,
I quite like.
Yeah, I mean, in this movie, they there's a whole bunch of the group of people that go around just collecting space trash, and that's what the movie focuses around, because that's how they make money.
Yeah.
And the whole system is stacked against them. Like, it's really difficult to make any kind of money or make any kind of a success of yourself. Everyone's just sort of scrabbling for scraps, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's really difficult to get anywhere, and in the middle of it, this little robot apparently gets lost, and apparently everybody wants to find this little robot for some reason, and it turns out that she's got nanobots that can regenerate organic life. And the guy, this is where I tuned off because I knew exactly what was happening. So here's my prediction. My prediction is that the guy wanted, the big guy wanted this thing because he knew that if he got it back to Earth, it could help restore the ecosystem and the plant life on Earth, and that would reduce his ability to get people to do what he wants them to do, to keep control of the system.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty much how it went.
Yeah.
Yes, it is predictable, but it's a fun movie. It is a fun movie. Even though it is very predictable, It is fun, and I think it's accessible to people of pretty much any age, really. So, children all the way up to, I don't know, 100-year-olds.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was alright. I mean, I liked the characters. The characters are right. There was this weird robot guy that I didn't really care for. So he was a bit of a...
The robot was awesome.
Yeah, he was a bit of a...
The robot was so cool.
Yeah.
It kind of made me think of a bit of is it KTSO from Rogue One?
Yeah, it did a bit. But what I imagined, or what Steven actually predicted for this one, was that he thought that I know exactly what's going to happen. I said, yeah, I have a feeling I do as well. And he says, yeah, well, what's going to happen is that the crew are going to have a change of heart, and they're going to try and rescue her or something, and that will be the main focus of the movie. So was I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, but that's gonna, as we've said before, there's very little originality out there, and most movies are predictable these days.
Yeah.
So it's there as a fun movie, and it's nice that it's not a Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah, I hate that term, blockbuster. It doesn't mean anything these days.
Well, no, it's not a big Hollywood movie. It's a big Korean movie. Yeah. South Korean movie.
Well, I mean, that's good, I suppose. I mean,
and as I say, there is a lot of diversity in the movie.
I mean, diversity for the sake of diversity doesn't mean anything, really.
I don't think it was for the sake of diversity. I think it was just the fact that
they wanted to have an interesting crew cast.
Yeah. If you've got, it's one of the shortcomings with a lot of American movies, specifically space-based American movies, nearly everybody in them is American.
Yeah.
And
they all say y'all a lot.
And nearly all of them are, unfortunately, white.
Howdy. And they're all from Texas. And they all have Stetsons.
Yeah. Quite like that, but you know what I mean. There's very little
diversity. Yeah.
It's kind of like the movie is everybody in space are American.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with most American sci-fi.
That's the case for most American movies, to be honest with you.
Well, a lot of American movies, yeah. It has changed a fair bit recently.
Mm-hmm.
But historically, it's been pretty bad, where everything's all about America.
Yeah.
And not to say that it's bad. America's bad, because it's not. But
yeah.
There is the whole world. Which is why this,
yeah, I know it's
having people from all over the world in a movie makes sense.
Yeah, I know. It's always one of those things, isn't it? Though? Like years ago, like movies used to be as much of a entertainment as it was a political exercise. Like Hollywood was all about America, American culture, American values, America.
Yeah.
And all the other countries did the same thing, because it was all like China or whatever. And it's all about sort of expressing cultural belief and identity and politics, and it became less about stories and more about politics. And
whereas
you still see elements of that today, but I think it's less pronounced.
Yeah, we're one world,
Mm.
one planet, one race.
Well, fighting over fish.
Well, fish and imaginary borders.
Yep. Right. Well, there we go. That's about it for. That seems like a good point to wrap up the show. Thank you very much indeed for listening. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show tonight, and thank you again to Forest FM for playing this. And don't forget, if you'd like to head over to our website, flyinglamastudios.net. That's flyinglamastudios.net. It's our website. You can see some of my doodles and sketches on there, as well as listen to previous copies of the show. They're all on there, so you can listen back to them if you're interested. And don't forget, if you are watching this on YouTube or Twitch, please do like and subscribe. I've gotten used to it now. I've just accepted it. It's just now a part of the. I'm just used to it. It's fine. I'll just.
Your favorite thing. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, or don't like and subscribe. Do whatever you want. I don't care. It's fine. So from the both of us, thank you very much indeed for listening. Do take care. Stay warm, because it's cold.
Yeah.
So cold.
Yeah, wrap up.
Mm-hmm. Buy an alpaca poncho. That'll be my recommendation to everyone. What?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I imagine they're quite warm, yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're really warm. I mean,
you
you look
tried it on?
silly, but, they're...
Who cares?
Yeah, I know. Well, whatever.
Individualism.
It's not something you wear down to Tesco, is it? Let's be honest.
Why not?
I mean, you could, but
Yeah,
you look a bit weird.
So?
Anyway, whatever. Goodbye!
This was a Flying Llama Studios production. No llamas were harmed in the making of this program.